might feel like you're stuck right now, like life is pressing down on you from all sides, and the weight is almost too much to bear. You've been working hard, pouring your heart into dreams that seem farther away than ever. Maybe you've prayed, cried, and questioned, wondering, why me? Why now? Why does it feel like nothing is working? Let me tell you something powerful. He's preparing you for something greater. The struggle you're in is not the end of your story. The Almighty, our Creator, is not punishing you. He's shaping you for the purpose He's placed inside you. I know it's hard to believe that when you're in the middle of the storm, but think about Elijah. After his great victory on Mount Carmel, when fire came down from heaven to prove the power of the Almighty, Elijah fled in fear from Jezebel. He ended up alone in the wilderness, asking the Creator to take his life. It seemed like the end for him, but the Almighty wasn't done. In that moment of despair, the Creator sent an angel to provide food and water and remind Elijah that he still had work to do. That wilderness wasn't the end of Elijah's story. It was preparation for his next assignment. Maybe right now you feel like you're in your own wilderness. You're wondering why things are falling apart when you've been trying to do what's right. But just like Elijah, the Creator is preparing you. He's teaching you resilience, showing you His provision, and building the faith you'll need for what's ahead. Consider Hagar, the servant of Sarah. She was mistreated and cast out into the desert with her son Ishmael. It seemed hopeless, but the Almighty didn't abandon her. When she cried out, He opened her eyes to see a well of water, saving her and her son. The Creator met Hagar in her desperation and provided exactly what she needed at that moment. Her desert experience was not a place of abandonment. It was a place of divine encounter. If you're in a season where you feel abandoned or overlooked, remember Hagar. The Creator sees you and cares deeply for you, even in the desert of your life. You have to understand something about preparation. It's not always glamorous. When an athlete trains for a championship, they don't just step onto the podium. They spend hours, days, years pushing their bodies to the limit. They sweat, they struggle, they endure setbacks and injuries. But when the moment comes, all that training pays off. Right now, you're in training. Every tear you've cried, every sleepless night, every door that's been slammed in your face is building you up for something beyond what you can imagine. Sometimes the process feels like pain, but the pain has a purpose. The Almighty knows what He's doing. He's shaping you, molding you like clay in the potter's hands. Think about the widow in 2 Kings 4, who was about to lose her sons to creditors. She only had a small jar of oil, but when she followed the prophet Elisha's instructions to gather empty jars and pour the oil miraculously kept flowing until every jar was full. The Almighty used her faith and obedience to turn her situation around. That jar of oil wasn't just provision, it was preparation. Her small step of faith opened the door for an overflow. Here's the thing. You have to trust the process, even when it doesn't make sense. Proverbs 3 verse 5 to 6 says, "Trust in the Almighty with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him and He will make your path straight." That means you don't have to figure it all out. You just have to keep going, keep believing, and keep trusting that the Creator's plan for your life is good. Now, I know some of you are tired. You're tired of waiting, tired of trying, tired of feeling like you're falling short. But let me remind you of this. Delay is not denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't happen. Sometimes the Creator's timing feels slow, but it's always perfect. Look at the story of Naaman. He was a mighty warrior, but he suffered from leprosy. When he sought healing, he was told to dip himself in the Jordan River 7 times. At first, Naaman was offended. The instructions didn't make sense to him. But when he obeyed, he was completely healed. That process, the dipping, the waiting, the trusting, was part of his preparation. It taught him humility and faith. You have to keep showing up. Keep planting those seeds, even when it feels like nothing is growing. Keep praying, even when it feels like your prayers aren't being answered. Keep moving forward, even when the path feels uncertain, because every small step you take in faith is bringing you closer to the breakthrough you've been waiting for. And let me tell you this, when the breakthrough comes, it's going to be bigger than you imagined. Our Creator doesn't do small blessings. When He shows up, he shows out. He's preparing you for something so great that it's going to blow your mind. You're going to look back at this season of struggle and say, now I understand why I had to go through that. Now I see what he was doing. So don't you dare give up. Don't you dare let the enemy convince you that you're forgotten or forsaken. You're not stuck. You're in the middle of a divine setup. The Almighty has not brought you this far to leave you. Think about Peter. After he denied our Savior 3 times, he probably felt like a failure. But after the resurrection, our Savior restored Peter and gave him a mission to strengthen others. What looked like a failure was actually preparation for leadership. I want you to declare this over your life. I am being prepared for something greater. My Creator has a plan for me, and it's good. I will not give up. I will not give in. I will keep going, knowing that the best is yet to come. Let this be your reminder. The struggle is temporary, but the reward is eternal. The Almighty sees you. He hears you, and He's preparing you for something greater than you can imagine. Hold on. Keep the faith. Your time is coming.